Alright, hello student, my name is William. Today I'm going to read another part of the Bible. Today I'm going to read Leviticus Chapter 4. Okay. And the Lord speaking to Moses, saying, Speak on the children of Israel, saying, If you soul shall sin through ignorance, commands against commandments of the Lord, any commandments of the Lord, concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them. If the priest and anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, in which he sinned a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord, and for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle, the congregation before the Lord. He shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and call the bullock for the Lord. Call the bullock for the Lord. Bullock, okay. And the priest anointed it to take of the bullock's blood, and bring of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and the sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put his blood upon the horns of the altar, and 3 incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation. Shall pour the blood of the bullock on the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. He shall take off all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering, and the fat of the covering and the inwards, and all the fat there is upon the inwards. Okay. And the 2 kidneys and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, so called above the liver, and the keys that shall be, and it shall be taken away. And it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and it shall burn upon the altar of the burnt offering. And the skin of the bullock, all his flesh with his head, and all his legs and the inwards of his dung, and even the whole bullock, he carried forth without the camp, and unto a clean place where the ashes were poured out, and burned him on the wood with fire, where the ashes were poured out, and it shall be burned. And the whole congregation of Israel, through the ignorance of the whole thing be hidden in the eyes of the assembly, and they have done so against the commandments of the Lord. Concerning the things that shall be done, and are guilty. When the sin they have sinned against it is known, the congregation shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the elders of the congregation shall lay upon the head of bullock before the Lord, and the bullock shall be killed before the Lord. And the priest anointed shall be the bullock's blood in the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in some blood, and sprinkle sometimes before the Lord, even before the veil. And it shall put some blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before the Lord, and it is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out the blood of the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take all this fat from him, and burn it upon the altar. He shall do with the bullock as he did for the bullock for his sin offering. And he shall do with this, and the priest will make an atonement with them, and he shall forgive him. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him, and burn on the first bullock, and an offering for the congregation. And the ruler had sinned and done with so through ignorance for the commandments of his Lord his God, concerning things that shall be done, and is guilty. For he is sinned where he hath sinned. Come to his knowledge. He shall be his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish. He shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat, and kill it. And the pace of the burnt offering before the Lord, it is sin offering. And the priest shall take the blood of the sin offering upon with this finger upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering. It shall pour out the blood of the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering. It shall burn upon all this fat on the altar, and as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings, priest also make an atonement concerning his sin, shall be forgiven him. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, will he do it somewhat against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought to be done, and be guilty. For it is sin he hath sinned, and he come to his knowledge. It shall be an offering of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin he hath sinned. It shall lay his hand upon the sin offering. It shall lay an offering piece of burnt offering. And the priest shall take a blood thereof in his finger, and put the horns of the altar in the burnt offering, and shall pour out the blood thereof, and embalm the altar. And he shall take away of the fat thereof. And the fat is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. He shall burn upon the altar, and say, "Be unto the Lord, unto the priest that shall be atoning with him, and it shall be forgiven him." And to bring the lamb and the sin offering, and bring it with a female without blemish. He shall lay his hand upon the hand of the sin offering, and a slave for an offering in the piece of the kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take the blood offering with his finger, the points of an offering, and it shall be poured out of the blood thereof upon the altar. And it shall take away the fat thereof, is the fat of the lamb that has been taken away, the sacrifice, the peace offerings, and the priest shall burn upon the altar according to the offerings, and made by fire unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement of his sin hath commanded, and it shall be forgiven him. Alright, that is the ending of Leviticus chapter 4. Next video, I'll read Leviticus chapter 5. Okay. I gotta go right now, but thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. So there, bye.